Since day one, I told you that this was my destiny. And I really want to tell you that my heart breaks for Becky, but it doesn't. Becky! 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 Her replacement. You know what? I thought I taught her better than that, than to be dumb enough to get suspended. I want to tell you that, but here we are. Just like before Survivor Series, when she attacked the superstars of Raw, got injured, and dropped the ball. Who did she choose to replace her in the match against Ronda? She chose me. You know why? So the myth of the man could continue and the queen could go to battle. None of you want to admit this, but you and Becky both know I am the backbone of this division. So all of you think that Mr. McMahon thinks you guys think I'm his favorite. No, that's why you think he chose me. You want to know why Mr. McMahon chose me? Because he made a smart business decision. Mr. McMahon chose a future Hall of Famer over someone that's just had a few good months. Wait. If I point at the sign and chant Becky, maybe she'll come out. Oh man, Becky didn't come out. So let me finish. Mr. McMahon chose me because the main event of WrestleMania is the biggest match of the year. And you're not going to risk it on a flash in the pan like Becky Lynch. So you may not be happy with Mr. McMahon's decision, but I can promise you this, that WrestleMania is going to be like every other pay-per-view that I've main evented, that all of you are going to be standing on your feet chanting, "This is awesome!" So boo me now. You're welcome.
What unbelievable poise.
And I want to dedicate this history-making WrestleMania main event victory that I'm going to have to my best friend, Becky Lynch.
A very honest presentation from the new challenger to Ronda Rousey's championship.
Obviously very tongue-in-cheek.
What? I'm main eventing WrestleMania! Woo! Oh, and by the way, Ronda, I have a front row ticket to your match against Ruby Riott at Elimination Chamber. Don't be nervous. I'm just scouting your match. I promise I won't interfere. But maybe we're going to have a new Raw Women's Champion, and I'll have a new WrestleMania opponent. Who knows? Shut your mouth.
Obviously, Charlotte Flair basking in the glow of her new opportunity.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 143 of the Hoots Podcast, live on Anchor FM, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all the great podcasting platforms around the world. My name is Josh Lopez. Welcome to the program, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. We do this podcast every single Thursday, brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you want to start your own podcast, like the one you're listening to right now, go to Anchor.fm/start to get your start today. And it's pretty cool to get your podcast out there to like all these different platforms for free. It's really good, especially for the young broadcasters who want to get their name out there. So go check out Anchor. As always, make sure to give us a 5-star rating and a subscription to our different podcasting platforms just to catch up with every single edition of the podcast. I've been uploading some old interviews I did on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Like last night, I uploaded the interview I did with Teddy Long. Holla, 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 player. So this is episode 143. We're on the road to 150, which should probably be the WrestleMania preview show. So a lot of stuff going on. We got the Elimination Chamber coming up this Sunday, and of course Fastlane coming up in a couple weeks in Cleveland, of all places. Yeah. In the words of Joe Kino, I don't know anybody who wanted vacation in Cleveland or anywhere in Ohio, but that's just my opinion. And last thing on the pluggy tip, make sure to check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. That's my website where I create play-by-play articles for all your favorite wrestling television shows and pay-per-views. So go check out that bad boy. This is the Hoots Podcast, man. Two brothers shooting this shit each week here to enjoy the world of professional wrestling, or at least try to, because God forbid we can't enjoy anything in life these days. So I want to thank you guys for giving us a chance and entertain you guys and make you think, make you laugh. Who knows? Maybe piss you off along the way. Who knows? But we're having fun regardless. I am alongside my good brother Adam Daley. What's going on, my man?
What's up, brother? Listen, I'm battling my dog as per usual with every episode that we seem to do these days. But listen, man, I just want to set the table before we get into anything because I'll break the news. It's going to be a little shorter episode, at least on my end. Just a lot of stuff going on, but. This is just, I want to give a real quick peek into, like, if we just take a stop and look at the world real quick, or at least here in the United States.
Right.
This is the week that was. On Fox, we had one of the Dynasty dudes saying that he has lifetime medical coverage from God and he doesn't need doctors. To which an actual Fox business anchor had to say, well, but here in your human form, you do get sick. That, I think, that's one thing. There's another guy on Fox that says he just doesn't wash his hands, which is great for he said he hasn't maybe washed his hands in 10 years. That's fantastic. Yeah. Then a wife of a Trump aide claims that measles cures cancer, so we should all just go get measles. Then on the flip side of it, though, because listen, I ain't trying to pick on one side. On the flip side of it, Democrats, for some reason, love them some blackface, dude. It has become blackface 2019. They're breaking out all the hits. Oh, it wasn't me. No, you know what? I wore blackface before, but I don't know how that picture got there.
I would never consider doing such a thing.
We have like two Baton Rouge cops that in 1993 went undercover. Undercover is black. It looked worse than the dude from Soul Man. There was no black person in the world that would have bought that these dudes were actually black. There was nobody that was buying it. And then they put that picture in a yearbook. And who knew that police officers had yearbook? Like, what the fuck is this fascination with yearbooks that we had in like the 80s and 90s and shit? Yeah. Oh, it's called Facebook now. Fuck. Okay. But anyway, so then listen, I'm not even done. Then 21 Savage happens, right? My man's British. And Liam Neeson really doesn't like black people. What the fuck is oh, and I forgot. And Trump likes to use the Trail of Tears as his son put it, savage, sick burn. I just want everyone. So when you're really thinking about how obscenely vaudeville wrestling can be and how nonsensical and how sometimes things don't connect, just think that's 1 week. That's been 1 week, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of the two things are not the same thing. I noticed right now. I'll add a couple to the mix because I saw the Grammys this past Sunday.
Okay.
I didn't know Jennifer Lopez was part of Motown. Maybe in the 90s, maybe I forgot what original record company she was on. I mean, she's a good singer, and it's always good to see Jennifer Lopez on television. But they're celebrating Motown in their 60th anniversary at the Grammys on Sunday, and she's the only one singing on it. And then Neo made an appearance. I don't know. It's one of the most random mixture of talents I see for a Motown group. But yeah, I saw that. Really quick, why in the blue hell is Chicago continuing to consider the option of having our former police guy as the mayor of the city of Chicago when we had issues in the first place with him in charge? Now you want him as the mayor?
Right. What's his last name?
McCarthy. Yes.
Who's he running against?
Bill Daley.
Oh, well then. And that's spelled very similar to a certain Daley that's on this show, huh? Oh, you mean exactly this? Oh, okay.
Yes. Really quick on a wrestling tip, since we're adding on this with stuff that's just actually weird. But Jimmy Uso got arrested in Detroit the other day. So Jimmy Uso did go to the penitentiary before he's bringing the penitentiary to Houston this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber.
No, I hope that. Yeah, I'm staying out of that one. I don't know what. I don't know.
So basically, he got arrested after SmackDown. So SmackDown was in Toledo. I guess Naomi and Jimmy Uso got their car in Detroit, where they had their last stop on the tour, and they got pulled over. Supposedly, the car smelled of booze. They pulled Naomi over because she was driving the car. Jimmy Uso gets out of the car and starts squaring up against the cops and wants to start a fight. Long story short, he posts his bail and nothing too serious after that. But I saw that before we started recording the show today. So,
but it's safe to say in Toledo, Ohio, they probably got profiled. So, I mean, let's just call it like it is. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to say I'm out of this. I don't know. Yeah. I just know that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Profiling happens.
I would not be surprised. Anything could happen in Ohio.
Unless you're RVD. And then, unfortunately, it's on dash cam and it's on YouTube forever. And it's still one of the greatest things that's ever, unfortunately, happened to somebody because they had to take the title off him. Back then, what was it, 2006? But still one of the greatest. If he can laugh at himself, which I know he has a great sense of humor. I'm sure that's one that, I obviously don't have. I have things I can laugh at myself about. We'll share them we'll wait for a different podcast. But yeah, man, I don't know. That's why I'm glad I stay off the interwebs with stuff like that, because then I don't catch stuff like that, or who got leaked this week. You know what I mean? Or whose nudes came out. Like, I'm glad I'm away from all that.
Yeah. Enough public embarrassment that goes on Twitter these days. I'll say this though. I love how Eric Bischoff just doesn't give a damn on Twitter. He'll say where the fuck is on his mind, especially for people who try to act like they're smarter than what he is at his own job. I always get a kick out of his back and forth stuff on Twitter. It's some pretty good stuff. Eric Bischoff, we talked about it I think it was a month or so ago, about his TED Talk, which was really awesome. Good.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible.
So with it being a shorter pod this week, I wanted to make sure I get a couple of thoughts on my chest, stuff that's unrelated to WWE, just to be fair to all the other wrestling companies.
Just remember, you got lifetime health insurance with the Lord, so you don't need it anyway.
Right.
Don't get health insurance. It's a ripoff. You got it. You don't need it.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know why somebody would admit that they wouldn't wash their hands, especially with it being Valentine's Day.
Dude was proud. I was a completely different dude, and he was very proud of it. But I want to know, listen, we always make the joke that like all these news stations go to celebrities too much for news and their opinions and shit anyway.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me of the old Chappelle skit where he's like, MTV was like, now we're on 9/11. Now we're going to go to New York City and find out what Ja Rule has to say about this. You know what I mean? Like it's who in the living hell gives two shits what any of those Duck Dynasty dudes that, and does everybody realize it's a gimmick? It's a work. Like these dudes are clean shaven businessmen. Like it is a gimmick. Our society is so dumb, man.
What about the Nightline series about the racist animals? That's getting the Chappelle.
There's racist. This sounds like Alex Jones screwing about some gay penguins.
Yeah, or
penguins are gay. Or
Flipper the dolphin. Go watch that segment. I'm not gonna go further.
I'm a pretty open-minded dude, and I'm not gonna lie. As I get older, I realize like everyone is in shit way too deep. Like life is more simplistic than like. Holy hell! There's the conspiracies, and I'm saying this laughing, guys, because listen. And when I was younger, I bought into a bunch of you just get old and realize, wow, that was just dumb.
Right. All right. So before we get to a lot of the good stuff that happened on Raw this week, I thought it was a really good Raw show this past Monday. We got talk a little bit about the Gauntlet match from SmackDown the other night, and then we'll wrap the show making our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. But beforehand, I just got a couple things I wanted to mention. Of course, last Thursday after we recorded the show, they had the AEW press rally in Vegas for Double or Nothing. Congrats to the guys down there at AEW. They sold out the event in 4 minutes, so I wanted to get that out of the way. Pretty cool accomplishment. They had a couple announcements. Neville's going to fight Hangman Page at the show. No other words yet about who Cody Rhodes will fight. There's a little teaser about it on Being the Elite. I saw that. But so we'll get more information as that comes out. I'll say this. I love the little skit they did with SU outside of the Super Bowl. They're like, this is the worst Super Bowl I ever been to.
How great was that? Wouldn't you lose your mind, too, if you were at the Super Bowl and all of a sudden, like all the dudes from Being the Elite are like right around you and stuff like that, I'm sure you like see probably a lot of just celebrity types and stuff like that at a Super Bowl anyway, but...
The sad part for me is I wanted to take them seriously because they are Rams fans, and I understand why they're saying it, but it also goes with the characters they play on the show, and I just couldn't stop laughing when they did that skit.
I love that they're still blowing out Christopher Daniels, his teeth, and how they were knocking him for not getting them fixed yet.
Right. Jericho Omega 2, that was the big announcement for that. I got a clip from Jericho that I'm going to be airing at the end of the podcast this week, so be on the lookout for that. Little good stuff from Jericho saying basically that he's responsible for Double or Nothing for selling out. So I thought it was some good stuff. So let's put AEW to the side really quick. Props to people for Impact for actually airing the show on Twitch, on their Twitch channel for free for the people who don't have Impact Wrestling, or they don't have the Pursuit channel, so they can't watch it on Friday night. So I want to give
the Pursuit channel.
I brought this up a couple weeks ago. I still don't even know what a Pursuit channel is. Who knows? They'll have reruns of Duck Dynasty on there. Who knows? That's
probably why I don't know what it is then.
So the Impact's airing their live shows on Friday nights on Twitch. So for people who want to catch up the product, you can watch it on their Twitch channel. And then for their nice little feature they have Josh Matthews and Don Callis kind of take you behind the scenes on where some of the storylines are going and how they're going and promoting other stuff that's going on with the company. So I've enjoyed it. It's actually made the Impact show go pretty faster than I thought it has in the past with the other networks that are on. So I just want to give shout out to TNA. So they've been putting out some good shows recently. And then finally on the non-WWE tip I wanted to mention, Ring of Honor in New Japan is having their big show, the G1 Supercard Show of Honor at Madison Square Garden during WrestleMania weekend. I don't know the full match card yet, but there was a title change that happened over the weekend. Jay White defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to become the brand new IWGP the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So yeah, Jay White is the new man in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So
I like the move. I like Switchblade, man.
Mm-hmm. So there's options. I don't know if they're going to do a just ROH versus New Japan thing where that's all the matches. I don't know what the theme of that show is going to be, but I'm pretty sure there'll be some good barn burners on there. And Jay White being the champion going into Madison Square Garden, practically playing the Kenny Omega role since he's not in the company anymore. So yeah, I think it's cool. Jay White is doing some good stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's all the stuff that's going on non-WWE related. Lastly, I wanted to mention, shout out to Akira Tozawa because I thought he had the line of the week on 205 Live this week. They had a contract signing at the end of the show. Him and Buddy Murphy are fighting each other on Sunday. And Buddy Murphy's new thing he's running with, he's saying, you can't beat what's unstoppable, right? So that's his shtick. Tozawa's like, okay, well, the last guy that called himself the king of the cruiserweights, and I took his title from him. And I thought that was a nice little touch, nice little jab there from Tozawa. So I want to give a shout out to him. That's gonna be a good match on Sunday. Tozawa and Buddy Murphy. They never fought each other before, so I'm actually looking forward to this one. This could be a good match.
Yeah, I will be. Is it pre-show or is it on the main card?
Yeah, this match will be on the kickoff show. I think it's the only one. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping that I make it in time. Then yeah.
Right.
Tend to be late now. It's when they start the real show at 7, it makes it longer. I'll admit, I don't watch as much of the pre-show as I used to, which I'm sure to them it doesn't matter. They're still getting the hits and the subscription anyway, so they don't give a shit.
I guess the only silver lining with these pay-per-views that are coming up the next couple weeks is that they're only 1 hour kickoff shows. So,
right.
Yeah, so I think that would be cool. I think the NBA All-Star game is this weekend. I totally forgot. I'm wearing a Bulls hat. I went to the Bulls game on Monday, actually, but I haven't really paid deep attention to the NBA and what's going on regularly as I would for the NFL or other sports. So, yeah, the All-Star game is going on this weekend in Charlotte. Talk about racial profiling areas.
Listen, there's a lot going on in Charlotte right now because I'm going to tie this into wrestling. So NBA weekends in Charlotte. I used to live in Charlotte. That's where I met my wife. But I actually lived in Concord, which is if you're from North Carolina, you're familiar with Concord being right outside the city, and it's where they have the NASCAR track. Long story short, that will be on April 27th, where the villain Marty Scurll faces Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. There's a fucking segue for you, brother. I placed it right on your lap. You're welcome.
Two pals who got their start of wrestling with each other now fighting for the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. They always gotta add the S to that particular title. So it is
the World's Heavyweight Champion.
The World's Heavyweight Champion. Just like when Corbin had his specific monikers when he was the constable or acting general manager.
Yeah, you got to get it right.
Yeah, I got to get it right. Speaking of getting it right, man, I talk about it each week on the show. I am a sucker for trolling humor and heat, or at least effective heat when it comes to feuds and have long-term implications. So think about this. For about a year, even after Ronda Rousey made her debut in the WWE at the Royal Rumble last year, what was the one match everybody talked about for her and the possibility of any woman main eventing a WrestleMania, right? Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte.
Yep.
That's the one match everybody talked about. We get this whirlwind of buzz for Becky Lynch. Everybody knows myself and Adam are big fans of the man, as everybody should be. And she's really made a niche for herself to the fact that she is like a star. It's not a flavor of the month thing that people are just going to move on after a couple months. She's a star. A lot of people talked about her. She's got a cult following now. I think Unfortunately, wrestling Twitter's trying to make her the next Daniel Bryan, and I see no characteristics to any of those storylines.
Again, I keep doing the Stone Cold thing, and we could even tie it into Vince now too. But go on.
Yeah, I see where you're going there. So Monday, the thread of the show was basically, will Becky see the doctor? We got that news. She got the doctor. She got Becky cleared. Stephanie said there's one more thing you got to do. You got to apologize at the end of the show. And that opening segment, by the way, I really thought this past Monday was a really, really good show. Even for myself who transcribes these shows this week, I know some shows are hit and miss, and I just thought the full show for what it was in other feuds that were going on throughout the show, I thought was pretty good. Especially the emphasis for this women's tag team chamber match. They've been putting a lot of spotlight in all these different teams, and I'm excited to talk about that match when we make our predictions later on. So back to this. So the opening segment gets really tense. Becky's like, I don't trust you or your husband or the old man in the back. This leads on to what happens towards the end of the show. Becky Lynch comes out. She apologizes to Stephanie and Triple H. The match is back on. Vince McMahon, Ronda came out first. I remember that, yeah. Ronda came out first before Vince did. And this is like a couple minutes before the show's coming to an end, because now they've been closing the show at 10 o'clock. They haven't been doing overruns for the last couple of months. So Vince comes out. He's like, okay, let's calm the situation down. I don't like bad attitudes. And the whole ruse is starting there. And once Vince came out, I knew what was going to happen. I had the biggest smile on my face of, here we go. We're going to get the good old-fashioned McMahon troll job right here. And it was art when it comes to heat. And I know a lot of people are salty about this, especially on the bubble trend. I've seen all the bitching, complaining about canceling the network and this and that. And, this is another example of, they don't listen to us. And so much for, it's the fan show now. Did you guys really buy that promo? I said it when they did that promo a couple months ago that wasn't going to last long.
Well, and this is something I talked about last week. Is that we'll never know what us as fans and I don't read dirt sheets anymore, but everyone seemingly that listens to a podcast does, and everybody has their own opinion. And listen, we're all entitled to it. But ultimately, if the game plan was all along Charlotte versus Ronda, if that was the plan, but Becky excelled so well, and I see where you're making a Daniel Bryan comparison there, because it's almost, she's being rewarded for her work this year, kind of like Daniel Bryan was, except I don't feel as though she's being as forced as Daniel Bryan was that year, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I do see a lot of Austin similarities in the fact of how it's an easy trigger point on fans right now, right? So this is just low-hanging fruit for Vince to come out and say, listen, you're out of the match. We're putting Charlotte in. Because, if, and this is a big if, I say if Becky wins it at WrestleMania, now she's climbed 2, 3, 4, 5 obstacles, 6, you know what I mean? Like she's done a lot more than won the Rumble, just beat Ronda Rousey. I think they want to tell a much deeper story, and I am okay with that. Does part of me still wish that it would remain Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Absolutely. But at the same time, I do think that when you do add Charlotte Flair, whether people like it or not, Josh, and this is where I'm going to pass it back to you, it does add a little more validation for the casual fan that doesn't know who Becky Lynch is. So this is where Becky Lynch can go from superstar to megastar. And I think that is what we should be looking at and be excited about, because she will. I mean, she's not going to disappoint. You know what I mean? So let's look at what's to come versus capping her out at WrestleMania. And then, like we always say, Josh, where do you go from there, right? Once that person grabs the title, where do they go from there? Well, I almost feel like, whether she wins the title or not at WrestleMania, this gives her an opportunity to continue growing as the man. And it's not just going to be a short-term thing. This could be very long-term as a character run, with heel turns, with or however the crowd is. She's very down the middle, and it's just the crowd response can change on her. That's just where I'm at with it. I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
I think this, not only there's a deeper element that can be added on as the weeks go by, but this has been a long story that's been going on for about a year and a half now, even before Ronda Rousey came to the company. So think about it. The best women's feud and one of the best feuds in WWE for the last year or two has been Becky Lynch against Charlotte. Becky and Charlotte were going after each other for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they're fighting each other. We saw it in Chicago. They're duking it out, and this is when Becky really started getting the hot crowd reactions. She's doing her thing. They fight each other at SummerSlam against Carmella, that triple threat match. Charlotte wins because she was a last-minute addition. She came back from an injury, and she didn't get her title rematch, right? So I guess that's what happened. Charlotte becomes champion. Becky does the turn. Ronda is the biggest scapegoat out of this whole situation right now. And I find that very interesting because last week we were talking about all the blind hate that she gets, which is still silly at this point. So we have all this stuff going on. There's like so many other like old feuds and elements have been added onto this thing, like Charlotte saying she's going to have a front row ticket to her match against Ruby Riott on Sunday, kind of playing off the Brock Lesnar Goldberg thing at No Way Out not a couple years, it was like 10 years ago. But there's been so many old elements and feuds that have been added on this from a heat standpoint where, like, yeah, the only thing that's conflicting with me is like, okay, yes, Becky's got screwed over by the Authority and the McMahon family, but I don't look at her as an underdog, nor do I have to in some ways. But I really enjoy what's going on here. I saw this coming out a mile away, and to say that Charlotte doesn't deserve this opportunity in the main event of WrestleMania is silly in my mind. And it all blends in. They're not just bringing out Ric Flair for no reason to celebrate his birthday in Atlanta.
Well, and you know what, Josh? Here's something else. Well, no, and okay, with fair criticism, they'll parade Rick out anytime they get a chance to parade Rick out. So let's call that.
Well, they do the same thing with Jerry when he's in Memphis.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But here's actually, I think, something else that a lot of people aren't really looking at when it comes to the Becky Lynch, just the Becky Lynch story itself. Because I do almost feel like everyone else is side players, even though Charlotte. See, people are threatened because Charlotte has the name, Ronda has the title, right? And that's ultimately why people right now feel like Becky's being buried, this, that, and the other thing. That's where it's really coming from. Now, here's where I think that, like, to take it an even deeper level, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. Not only are Triple H and Stephanie investing a lot of time into this program, which is it looks like is probably going to main event WrestleMania, but now Vince is really starting to submerge himself into a storyline. That matters, guys. If you think it doesn't matter, if you think it's just him going out there because Vince isn't going to go out just for any skit or any segment or any promo. You know, Vince makes his time mean something. So when and especially if he's going to be involved in a storyline or you know, a program leading up to WrestleMania or what have you, you know, looking at how the entire McMahon family, you know, quote unquote, with the exception of Shane, is kind of involved in this. You know, it really, I think, adds that extra layer of legitimacy of, okay, even though we're not getting the match that we want again, this is great. We have to think big for Becky Lynch. Like, this is great. When this is the time of year where casuals tune in. And I get it now because the casual is going to remember if they see Vince McMahon coming out and they want to know why Vince has issue with one of these female wrestlers, one of the, you know, someone in the women's division. It's going to hold their attention now because we're not used to seeing this. You know, we're not. I mean, this is kind of brand new territory. And who would have thought that we would see Vince now this deep in? You know, and who knows where it goes from here? But just the fact, you know, Josh, and I think that. I don't know if people realize how valuable, you know, quote unquote, Vince TV time is and how shrewd they are about using it. And the fact that it's really being used a lot so far in this storyline, and it seems like it's going to continue. I think that says a lot too.
Right. There's a lot of other things I wanted to mention from the show, but there's other things like as far as WrestleMania is concerned that we could hit on as the coming weeks go by. But just to add a bow on this particular feud and what's going on with Raw, I couldn't stop laughing once Vince made the announcement. So I'm coming home from the game, right? It's like 9:30ish. The Revival just became the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is pretty cool. I saw the match in full the Tuesday morning, and it was a really good match. The Revival are the new tag champions.
Am I allowed to say fuck the Revival, or is that like a cease and desist on us too? Or no, that was just against. Okay, we can say fuck the Revival. No, I like the Revival.
This is no non-filter zone.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm basically catching up at the end of Raw Live and to see that segment, and then the next day to find out that particular segment is the most disliked video in all of WWE's videos on YouTube. It's insane, man.
Well, and you know what, Josh, too, think about how much time they spent on Becky. You know, they did her initial promo. Then there was the backstage where she just walked past Elias. Then she was on the monitor, talking to Finn Balor. Then, she was damn near, they did a lot with Becky on Monday. Again, I just think that people aren't getting the story that they exactly want. But ultimately, I think the payoff could be grander. I really do.
Well, think about this. The McMahons are pulling a Piper. All of us and people in the bubble think we have all the answers to what's going on. And the McMahon family keep changing the questions.
Right. And speaking of changing, having all the answers and changing the questions, I wanted to bring this up and it is WWE related, before we spin into anything else, whether it's SmackDown or the pay-per-view. Did you see the advertised intergender match between Dean Ambrose and Nia Jax?
I did not.
Okay, so there was an advertised match for like a day, and it said that it was going to be Nia Jax versus Dean Ambrose. It was I don't want to miss. I don't know what city it was in. It was in the South somewhere. I want to almost say like Birmingham, Alabama, or somewhere in like Tennessee. I don't know, somewhere in the South. So don't quote me on like what city.
Right.
But long story short, and I don't think that this had nothing to do with the city or anything like that. But I guess once it got out, the advertisement got out. According to a thing that I read, one of WWE's sponsors said, "No, we're not going to sponsor. You're not going to have our sponsorship if you go through with this match." And so they pulled the match.
Right.
So now this is where I want to bring up two things. One, we can debate fair foul all we want. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But number two, this is where sometimes why I give WWE a little bit of slack compared to maybe some other companies, because and we're going to see when AEW starts up and they have sponsors and they have a pecking order and they have to start, there's going to be who's getting pushed over who. It's going to be the same debate once they start up too. But this is why I do give WWE a lot of slack sometimes, because I understand that the sponsors get in the way. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not us as fans. It's the sponsors that get in the way. How do you feel about that, man?
No, I totally agree, and I'm curious to see how these things are going to go. And I appreciate that AEW is taking a stand about having equality and who could be allowed in their roster. So I think that's cool. But again, and I know this from experience of being in the business, some things just don't fly for certain networks. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Sponsorships, there's a lot of things that go into having a wrestling company that's viable and actually have TV penetration. These program directors are not just looking for content. If you don't have the right sponsors to get your branding out there with the added commercials that's on those particular television stations, there's only so much you can do. So let's say that AEW so they have Cracker Barrel and all the different sponsor ads they probably already got from All In, right? So they got no issue with what's going on there, or at least something I don't know yet. What if they try to get a deal with somebody else and they're like, we can't have Sunny XO or XOlicious on your show. We're not going to promote that, or we're not going to promote transgender wrestlers on our company, you know?
Right.
It's a double-edged sword. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we have to be realistic about this too. We're still in the United States. We're still in this society where we still live in the 1970s, and
the 70s I think was a good time. Maybe it depends. No, but you know what? Listen, I think though that what Brandy Rhodes put out I think was very poignant because it was very. I think they're going to make sure no matter what that if a sponsor isn't okay with what they're doing, they're just gonna be like, okay, well then we don't want your money.
Right.
And I think what she was also saying, and I think it was on Twitter she put it out. I saw it on Instagram that somebody like screen capped it or whatever. I think it was maybe Pipe Bomb News that put it out and was giving her credit. And I'm glad that they did because I wouldn't have seen it. But she also said that that along goes with the fans. It's an all inclusive event. It doesn't matter your race, gender, religion, whatever. I think it's poignant to say that, Josh, because. For the longest time, I hesitated taking my daughter to a wrestling event because I remember I used to work with this dude and his big running joke all the time. And he remembered his big thing was he went to Roadblock End of the Road, whatever, a couple years ago when they had it in Pittsburgh and it was December. Yeah. And security told him he had to kind of quiet down a little bit because he was trying to get a Charlotte has a penis chant going. And he kept screaming, "Oh, Charlotte has a dick." Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's why I don't take my daughter to these things yet. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you have to control the crowd. I'm not saying censor the crowd because, listen, you're still going to have but it's nice to know that there's going to be some sort of, I don't want to say a moral obligation, but they're letting it know, listen, you're going to respect the people around you. Like, we can all agree to disagree about everything. But the beautiful part about going to a wrestling event is we can agree that it's fucking awesome, right? And so like when you're there, that's where the focus should be. And I think that's really the message she was sending. And I think it was really cool to put that out there, man. And I'm not saying that WWE hasn't been doing a good job of it. They have been. But again, Josh, that's what we talk about. It's slower with them because of all the sponsors that come with them. They're getting there, but they're getting there.
It was nice seeing Kevin Owens on Raw this Monday.
Awesome.
By the way, shout out to him wearing the Hawks hat. Good brother. He was rocking the bowling lanes and stuff. So I'm excited to see KO back in the shows soon. I don't know when that is, but he said he wasn't sure if he's going to be on Raw or SmackDown. So
said it was about a month out, right?
Yeah. So KO Mania 4.
I think it's right? before. It's before.
Yes. Mm-hmm. 5 is the Mega Power, so I'm saying WrestleMania 36, Kevin Owens by Sami Zayn, or somebody else that has like a deep rooted issue with. Who knows? I'm excited to see KO back. He's my favorite guy for WWE right now. So let's go to SmackDown real quick because we got to get out of here soon. I wanted to say this. I really. I thought sometimes in wrestling when you have matches and the wrestlers just are just smart about it, and it's probably credit to the agents whoever started the match or who came up with the ideas for the match, but the fact that the Iconics didn't do one move in their match Tuesday, I just thought that was brilliant, especially with the stipulation that was added onto it. So this week on television, they did 2 separate triple threat matches. So whoever lost those matches would be the first entrant in the Elimination Chamber. So practically giving everybody a disadvantage. That's the whole shindig here. But the main event of SmackDown was Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston replacing the injured Mustafa Ali. I'm glad they let Ali share his Twitter promo on the show just to let everybody know what's going on with him beforehand. So it wasn't like, oh, they're just putting him into the side and don't worry about him. He's dealing with a tailbone injury right now, so hopefully he gets better.
Yeah, that sucks. I was really looking forward to seeing him compete. But listen, sometimes injuries can only increase popularity.
Right.
I hate to say that because you never want to see somebody get hurt, but you have to look for that silver lining, It's the only thing that keeps you going sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Last year we had Seth Rollins really regain momentum and break out again in last year's gauntlet match they had on Raw. This year, there's been a lot of stock added back to Kofi Kingston and the performance he had on Tuesday during the gauntlet match. He made it second to the finals. AJ Styles is the one who eliminated him before Randy Orton. LOL, you know the drill. I even put in my article, like you knew what was going to happen, especially how much time was left on SmackDown. I was like, yep, Orton's just going to do the RKO and then call it a thing.
I'll be honest, man. I wish, and you know what, and I'll admit, I'm a little fan-sided on this one. I wish they would just give Kofi the damn title for, like, even if it's like a month, man. Like, honestly, and it's not, you know, I know it's not going to happen at WrestleMania or anything like that, but
don't say that. Don't say that.
That's true. That's true.
I had this conversation with the director of operations the other day. And he said, would it be the craziest idea to have Kofi and Daniel Bryan fight each other at WrestleMania? And think about it. The New Day are the definition of what Daniel Bryan can't stand.
Yeah.
Consumerism.
Yeah.
Selling things that's not good for your body.
Yep.
Think about it. I'm not saying these guys are going to have a main event slot or closing out the show or anything like that. But you tell me you can't have Kofi win the title and Bryan get back at Fastlane, and then they had this New Day feud going on. And think about this. I don't know if you like this idea or not, but I brought this up to Brother Carter. To even up the odds, since Eric Rowan's by himself and he got Big E and Xavier on the side, I know this has been done in the past, but I think it would work, and people like this dude. I wouldn't mind having Harper join this hemp group that Daniel Bryan's starting.
Oh, yeah, I love Harper. Yeah, I love Harper. I mean, is he cleared? Can he go now?
I heard he was at the Performance Center, but he hasn't been on television, and it's just going to be weird to say that, oh, you're going to have Rowan on TV, but you're not going to have Harper. Like, it's come to the point, even if they haven't done it as much as we would like to see those guys do as a tag team, they
almost go hand in hand now. You almost see one with the other. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I see what you mean. So I'm a big Harper Mark because he's a big, like, Kevin Smith and, like, Mallrats type of dude. Like,
right.
Kind of guy. So, oh, hey, Piper. Hey.
Yes. So don't be surprised, man. I wouldn't mind seeing that, and it could happen. I'll say this right now. Besides what's going on with Becky Lynch and Ronda Estrada, I am very curious to see what they're going to do with the WWE title, because it could go in many different directions. I don't think AJ Styles is fine for the WWE title after. I don't think he's fine for the title at WrestleMania. I don't. You're talking about earlier about Vince McMahon using his segments for certain reasons. I think Vince is going to get back into the thing with AJ Styles.
The ring?
No, not Matt.
No, I'm teasing, man. No. You're like, Vince, come on, man. Let's not. You don't want none. Actually, Vince would prove us all wrong.
Yeah,
Vince, no, I agree with that. I don't necessarily see Styles in a championship match. No, I agree with that.
I think AJ's either going to fight Randy Orton or Undertaker.
Oh, okay. I could see Taker. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was a good week of in-ring content. I also enjoyed the Seth Rollins Paul Heyman promo for Monday. I don't know if you got to see that.
Yeah, it was awesome. The vignette they put together for the year of Rollins was awesome.
Right. So we'll get into more in depth with some of the other feuds that are going on. But
quick note that I also pointed out. I meant to bring this up last week, but I didn't because I had a lot going on. But 2 weeks ago, Nikki Cross made a Joker reference on Raw and talking about how she loves chaos because it's fair and all. Not for nothing. There's a Nikki Cross T-shirt right now that says "Slaughter is the best medicine," but the S is crossed out, so it says laughter, and it's got like the smile on it. And it says Nikki Cross. I mean, I'm not saying that it's probably some Joker influence there, but maybe there's some Joker influence there. If anybody's seen The Dark Knight or half the Joker publications out there, but it's awesome. That's all I'm saying is that it's awesome. And that's why I love Nikki Cross. And that's why she's a we're big fans of her in this house. So
I have a feeling Cross is going to go after Asuka.
You know what, man? I actually thought about potentially Ruby going after Asuka. I thought about like Ember Moon. I thought about maybe, I don't know. Maybe after WrestleMania. I don't know. You might be right.
Well, it doesn't matter to me if I'm right or wrong. You know,
it would be awesome if you're right. Listen, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they do the.
She's got a lot of shirts already. That's one thing I noticed.
Yeah, I saw that.
A lot of different prints. That usually means something.
She's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic.
Who wouldn't want to put stock into her? I'll say this though, Carmella and Naomi make a good tag team. Actually,
yes, they do.
Not just character wise. I actually liked what they were doing in the ring on Tuesday. So that's gonna be a good match. So let's get into that. Let's get into the chamber. Let's wrap this thing up with a bow. Elimination Chamber coming up this Sunday in Houston, Texas. Shout out to my good brother B-Rob who lives down there in Houston. With him in his past of being a Marine, he gets to go to these shows for free. So I know he'll be there.
Good luck, B-Rob. Thank you, good sir, for serving us, man.
Yeah. B-Rob's a good brother. I was going to say this, the Elimination Chamber, of course, we know who's going to be in the chamber, but there's been some other matches that have been added on in between, like Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin are fighting each other now in a no disqualification match. I'm sure there's going to be shenanigans. We talked about last week about potential Drew McIntyre, Kurt Angle WrestleMania match, so I wouldn't be surprised if those two are involved. Let's start off with that one. Who you got in that one?
So you know what? I'm going to do something real quick. Give your prediction first. I'm going to mute my mic, and then I'll give my prediction after you.
Okay. All right, so let me say this real quick. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, my God, we've seen Corbin and Braun Strowman fight a million times. Well, you're going to get your wish because the feud will probably end by Sunday. Again, like I said, I have no issues with people who may be indifferent towards different feuds or matches, but again, we're watching a wrestling show, and not every match is going to be for somebody. I think that's a lesson we could show for every wrestling fan out there. Not every match on every show is going to be particularly for you. I'm not saying that I'm on my pins and needles or on the edge of my seat for this match. It probably won't be that long anyway, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Braun Strowman in this one.
All right, so what I'm going to do, because it's Valentine's Day, and I got a very special Valentine next to me, what I want to do is I'm pulling her in. This is a little surprise cameo here. My lovely daughter, AJ, and you guys know I don't like camera, so this is rare. So if you're one of the few that's watching this live, you finally get to see the face to match up with everything. So all of my predictions, I'm going to pass to her. So AJ, you're predicting the pay-per-view for us, babe.
Okay.
So what match are we on? We're on Braun Strowman and versus Baron Corbin.
This one's pretty easy.
Probably going to be Braun Strowman.
You think Braun Strowman?
Yes. Yes.
Who do you want to win?
Braun Strowman.
Okay.
I can't take Baron Corbin.
Yeah, you don't like Corbin, huh? I like Corbin.
I like his character, but I can't take him.
As you can see, we have a dog wrestling us behind us, too. But, all right. we will continue. So that's another one for Braun Strowman over here.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. The Usos, Shane and Miz, or is it McMiz TV? That's what it was.
McMiz.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good on Tuesday.
Sounds like a bad special at McDonald's.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or the best new meal that they have. I don't know. It's either or.
Who knows? All right, Usos against Shane and Miz. Yes, sir. Usos?
You going with the Usos? You think?
Yeah.
I think there might be something that just happened where they might not get the titles now. But there might be some outside interference that could be causing. Now that you mentioned that earlier, Josh, otherwise I'll admit I was actually going Usos as well. But you know what? Since Lady Luck over here is going Usos, I guess I'm going to stay with it. I'm going Usos.
Yeah. Is Mandy Rose going to do something with the Usos again?
No, but that would be a great idea. And you would never hear me complain about that whatsoever.
We're gonna have a clean sweep here. I'll go with the Usos. I think Miz turns on Shane McMahon on Sunday.
I think it's happening eventually. I think they might save that one for Fastlane.
Yeah. Shane McMahon, as Broken Man Hardy would say. All right, next one, really quick. Ronda Rousey against Ruby Riott. I'm really excited for this match. This one's for the Raw Women's title.
Ronda Rousey.
You're going Ronda Rousey? What about? But you love Ruby, though.
I do, but I think Ronda would win.
Ronda wins. Now, Charlotte's supposed to be in the front row because she got a ticket. Because, see, you didn't get to see the end of Raw. Charlotte is now wrestling Ronda at WrestleMania, and Becky's been taken out of the match because she's suspended for 60 days.
No, I saw that.
Oh, you did see that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Well, I never. So, all right. So who you got then? You got Ronda?
Yes.
You got Ronda. She got Ronda.
Yep, we're all on Ronda. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if we keep coming up with these scenarios for Fastlane. We're like, oh, you can have like 1 month title reigns. Who knows? Maybe we would surprise everybody.
You never know. I think not in this one, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Saving this one to be special.
Yeah, armbar.
Yep.
Yeah.
It might be Charlotte that's eating the armbar, though. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush against Finn Balor. This is one of the 2-on-1 handicap match for the IC title.
I'm going Finn Balor.
You're not going with the Almighty?
No, I can't take that character.
What about the man of the hour?
I can't.
You don't like Leo Rush?
No.
He's the man of the hour, though.
No.
He's the man of the hour.
No. I can't.
Not even the Almighty?
I can't take.
He's a pretty big dude.
I can't take either.
All right, Finn Balor it is. It's going to be pretty hard to ever break her off of a Finn Balor prediction, though, too. So let's
I'm going with Finn Balor as well. I'm sorry, Little Urkel is going to cost Bobby Lashley the match.
Oh, jeez. I like Leo, man. He really grew on me a lot.
It's cool. He actually allows fans to jump on his Instagram videos and stuff like
that's cool.
Back and forth. Like he'll bust their chops, but he'll let them ask questions and stuff. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going with Finn Balor. This one should be a good match. All right, let's get into the chamber matches really quick. Let's start off with the women's tag team titles. We got Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Nia Jackson, Tamina, right? We got the Riot Squad, Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Iconics, and Fabulous Glow. I have a lot of options here, but I am going with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of the tag team, but I'm actually picking them as far as my prediction.
I think that Nia Jackson to me is going to win this one.
You think Nia Jackson's
yeah,
winning? You think so?
I think so, yeah.
They're going to be pretty tough to beat.
I think that they're going to win this one.
What about your girl Sonya and Mandy, though?
I do want them to win, but
well, who do you want to win the most out of everyone that's in it?
Probably the Iconic.
Okay.
The Iconic.
I think me too. Yeah, I think me too on that one. Man, you know what? I feel like they're really going somewhere with this. How Bayley is kind of carrying the whole workload. I feel like it's going to come down to them. And I'd love to see the Riot Squad win. I'd love to see Sonya and Mandy win. Right. And I would love to see the Iconics win. I'm okay actually with any of these teams. It's not like I'm like against anybody, but yeah, I think I almost see Sasha and Bayley as like the final team with whoever wins. And I'm actually going to go with the Iconics. I really am. I think that they've been teasing it so heavy. It seems like, yeah, they're not going to do it, but I think they might. I think they kind of weasel their way out of getting into the cell, and then Bayley turns on Sasha or Sasha turns on Bayley, and then they get it. It's almost a Chris Jericho scenario when Jericho beat Shawn Michaels. Jericho beat The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship when Shawn Michaels came up through the thing. Right. I just feel like there could be some, although obviously different circumstances, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree.
As I'm keeping a dog held down because she's eating my arm, Piper. Rowdy one.
Yes, indeed. I'll say this though, remember that last tag team chamber they had? It was like Prime Time Players and Los Matadori. Yeah. It wasn't a good list.
It was. Yeah, actually, this definitely has a crisper ring to it than that did.
Yeah, it's gonna be a better match probably too. So,
real quick, what do you think about the tag team titles? Do you like how they look?
Yes, I actually like how they look.
Do you?
Yeah.
There you go.
By the way, I don't have an issue with them going on both shows now. Like this one division, they're not gonna have a Raw women's tag team division. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But lastly, the main event: Daniel Bryan, or as I like to call him, the new Big Lebowski. You got AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, Kofi Kingston, and Randy Orton. I'm going with Daniel Bryan in this one, but I would not be surprised if Kofi Kingston wins on Sunday.
Ooh, so that's a deep cut right there. AJ, who do you got in the Elimination Chamber? Who do you think wins Daniel Bryan's championship, the real cool championship?
Yeah.
Do you like his new championship?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
I like it better.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't.
You think Daniel Bryan just retains, or?
Maybe, yeah.
I think he definitely retains.
Yeah. Anybody but Randy Orton. We can all agree on that, right?
Anybody but Randy Orton.
You are not an Orton fan at all, are you?
No. I mean, I used to be, but it's just boring.
It's boring.
It's boring. We've got better people.
We've got better people. I like that you're in the writing room. We've got better people. He's like a surefire Hall of Famer. We've got better people. 9-year-old Mark in the making right here.
Yeah.
What is going on in my house with a dog and everything?
That's pretty much it, brother.
And there we go.
Oh, I forgot.
You got one more.
One more. Adam, you could probably add to this. I don't know. AJ, you don't watch 205 Live, right?
I only keep up with the matches on pay-per-views and all that.
That's a smart choice. Yeah. Buddy Murphy against Akira Tozawa.
Probably Buddy Murphy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Piper. I'm sorry. I just triggered my dog. She was like, ooh. See, Tozawa, see what happens? See what you made me do? Wasn't that a thing last year? All right, listen. I'm not done, but I'm going to cut the camera off and then obviously cut this part of it off. But, ladies and gentlemen, this was my fantastic co-host of the co-host. It's being attacked by my dog right now. My lovely daughter AJ, who is not going to come in for her take a bow moment. Okay. There you go. Take your bow, young lady. Take your bow. Happy Valentine's Day, my dear. Now scram, kid. Love you, sweetie.
Love you too.
All right, so now I'm going dark back on this side, so I can just be behind the hidden camera. There we go.
Yeah, all right.
Little Valentine's Day stuff for you guys there.
We won't see the man on Sunday at the Chamber. We had the man on the podcast this week.
Well, she's absolutely attacking Charlotte in the crowd.
Yes, probably. Absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to be pretty much it for the podcast this week. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out the show. Make sure to like our shows on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to our channels. Leave us 5-star rating. Let us know what you think about the show. We're always open to open reviews for the podcast. And thanks for the support as always as the shows keep getting better as the weeks go by. 7 episodes away from 150, which is be a pretty cool accomplishment for both of us since we've been, after WrestleMania, it'd be 3 years since myself and Adam have been doing podcasts together. And I'll say we have the best show out there. So we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us each week. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. You can follow myself at Twitter and Instagram at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to follow the good brother Adam Daley at AdamDaley13 on Instagram. Check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the Elimination Chamber this Sunday. And we'll be back here to recap it next week on the Hoots Podcast. Peace.
It's a very exciting time for All Elite Wrestling after selling out Double or Nothing in just 4 minutes. 12,000 tickets sold at the MGM Grand in just 4 minutes. It's unprecedented in Las Vegas pro wrestling history. The first time ever that a show was sold out in less than a day, never mind less than 5 minutes. And everybody is so excited. Cody and the Bucks are saying, we did it! And Kenny Omega is saying, we did it! And every single person who bought a ticket to go to the show and who's going to watch at home and pay-per-view is saying, we did it! We are part of something special! We made this happen together! We did it! But is that really the truth? Huh? Really? Honestly? Or is the more accurate description, I did it? As in Chris Jericho single-handedly sold 12,000 tickets in 4 minutes, because that is the truth. Because that is what Chris Jericho does. It's the same way that Chris Jericho made AEW legit the moment I stepped on that stage at the rally in Jacksonville. At that exact moment, suddenly everybody's saying, AEW, Jericho's there? I want to be a part of it. Jericho's there? I want to be there. Jericho's there? I want to buy a ticket. I want to buy 12,000 tickets in 4 minutes. You see, because when Chris Jericho's on the roster, the biggest star in the world today, it doesn't matter Who else is on the show? We've got some huge stars. But it doesn't matter if Kenny Omega's on the show, or Cody's on the show, or MJF is on the show, or Mahatma Gandhi's on the show. I mean, you could raise John Lennon from the dead and have him walk arm in arm with the Young Bucks down the street as the new elite, and it does not matter. Because when you have Chris Jericho, that's all you need. One of the biggest stars in the history of this business is now in All Elite Wrestling. And the moment that I showed up, suddenly there's waves being caused. Chris Jericho gets people talking. Chris Jericho gets people involved. Chris Jericho gets people excited. To the point of selling out 12,000 tickets in 4 minutes. So on May 25th at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, I am going to beat Kenny Omega. I am going to beat the best belt machine, the best wrestler in the world today, but I'm going to beat him. And when I do, I'm not just beating Kenny. I'm beating Cody, and I'm beating Matt Jackson, and I'm beating Nick Jackson, and I'm beating Pac, and I'm beating Hangman Page, and I'm beating Dr. Britt Baker, and I'm beating every single sycophant who has bought into this theory that we made this happen together, because that's not true. I made it happen. Single-handedly. I am the sole reason why AEW is a smash success right out of the gate. And I want all of you to thank me for that. And for all the huge success that AEW will scale in the future on my back. You're welcome.